Yo guys, what is up? Max on Borderlands 4 video, and today we got a huge patch for Borderlands 4. At least on Steam, this was an 11 gigabyte patch. I do believe it's smaller on console, but it adds some much requested features like the console FOV slider, some fixes to stability, and more. We're going to be going over everything you need to know, as well as the weekly changes to where Maurice is and all that. Hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown. Let's get right into it. So to start us off, the change list, the big encore machine, the weekly wildcard, and Maurice's black market vending machine are all changed and different. Well, we'll go over exactly what the rewards are and where the vending machine is later. We're just going to get through these patch notes first. So, stability and performance. They made improvements to stability and performance, address various instances of hitching, low FPS, and crashes, and we're continuing to investigate and make further improvements to stability and performance. They updated character animations. They did some changes to the graphics presets. They fixed an Xbox-specific issue on black screening, and they improved the loading of characters in menus to reduce visible delays. Now, I do want to note that upon booting up this new patch, the game ran worse than it's ever run for me prior. I've heard of other people having the same issue. Basically, it seems like it needs to redo all of the shaders after this patch. So you can either let the game sit for a while. People were saying about 10 minutes before the game stopped hitching and stuttering, loading all those shaders. Or what I personally did is I just deleted my shader cache, and then the game was running pretty smooth after that. But if you are on PC, there is potential that you're going to be hitching and stuttering for the first few minutes upon booting the game up. For rewards and progression, they addressed a reported issue where players could lose or be rewarded unintended extra skill points in multiplayer. I've heard of people getting thousands of skill points. I've also heard of people having 48 skill points and no way to get their last skill point back. So that should be fixed. They also fixed an issue that was preventing contract target enemies from consistently spawning. This was definitely something that I encountered, especially when I was trying to level up to 50. I'd constantly travel all the way to go do a Vile Bounty, and that Vile Bounty would just never spawn. Super frustrating. That should be fixed now. They updated some rep kit lifesteal challenges to track lifesteal from any source. They prevented region discovery trophies achievements from unlocking before discovering all areas. Prevented instances of unowned DLC content appearing in chests or in menus. Improved clarity of DLC-related warnings and reward availability. They addressed a reported concern where the reward center could stop working after claiming the Gilded Glory reward packs. And then they made some other fixes to the reward center pop-ups. They reduced the sell prices of the Gilded Glory pack in vending machines and updated the reward bundle to redeem properly in all instances. They also made some changes so that you should be able to properly progress from UVH 4 to 5 after completing the required wildcard missions. And they updated class mods to prevent them from dropping with incorrect skill points. I had been sent some pictures of class mods dropping with skill points of 6 into 1 skill. That shouldn't have been possible, so that no longer should be happening. Now we get to Vault Hunter changes. Now, I do want to note, before we get into these changes, Gearbox has told me that they do have a big round of buffs coming, but that's going to be coming early next week. They said that they didn't have enough space in this patch, basically, with all of the things already happening to also add all of the buffs. So expect big buffs coming early next week. This is more not really balance associated, more so just fixes for character skills not working properly. So for Harlow the Gravatar, Gravatar ground state capstone has been corrected to remove inaccurate verbiage about enemies taking reduced damage when they did not. Flux Generator no longer heals enemies with the potential transference capstone. Seen that. They updated the accretion passive to consistently grant lifesteal to allies. They addressed various reported issues with the unstable energy pocket chrome accelerator action skill, where it would not disappear, it would not properly convert to cryo, or split as intended with certain skill tree combinations. So this should be working better. No nerfs for any of the characters here. Amon the Forge Knight Primal Surge passive now properly restores shield and ammo. I gotta mess around with this yet, or I haven't had a chance to mess around with this yet. I was using Primal Surge on our Ordnance Amon, and it seemed to work great, but maybe it wasn't properly giving us shield back. So interesting to mess around with that. Potentially could do some wild things with maybe an amp shield now. Forge Knight Firewall action skill has been adjusted so Vengeance cannot be stored by Firewall before Scourge is active as intended. Forge Knight the Onslaught or Rocket Punch now connects more reliably with shielded enemies. Good change. It was definitely a little wonky feeling. And they addressed a reported issue with the Forge Knight Forge Axes not consistently seeking nearby enemies. If you're playing a Forge Axe build, it just feels pretty bad right now. I do think they need to buff their damage, but it's good that they're upping their AI. Next, for Vex the Siren, they addressed a reported issue with the Grave Harvest augment being triggered while Incarnate was not active. It was happening all the time for me in the training dummy area. They addressed a reported issue where Siren's Blight attunement passive could occasionally fail to damage the Timekeeper, and damage caused by the Siren Spirit Bomb passive now properly counts as companion damage and changes its color to match attuned elements. For Rafa, the Exo Soldier addressed a reported issue preventing the Exo Soldier Blowout passive from stacking properly when repeating action skills. For gameplay changes, they addressed some like mission blockers and story progression blocks, such as in the Talk to Zadra mission and the Overriding a Wrong Side mission. They updated beam hit detection so you could properly block it. Rep kits are now going to correctly consume the amount of charges with the Scourge action skill. They prevented some Forge Knight sliding at Molten Slam. They updated Zadra's lab fast travel to unlock after discovery, and some more instances of enemies getting stuck. For gear, the Atling gun heavy ordnance now properly targets Primordial Garden and Septus. Didn't really mess around with this, but good change there. The Queen's Rest pistol with Daedalus ammo switcher license underbarrel now shoots correct projectiles. Gear with the short circuit augment now traces properly towards enemies instead of random directions. And they reported or addressed reported edge cases where interrupting reload could cause ammo desyncs that would prevent ammo from firing. For balance changes, the Hellwalker will now always spawn with the fire element. This updates current Hellwalkers, so if you had a Hellwalker, it will now be like retroactively in the fire element. Cheater weapons got a 10% damage and a 10% magazine buff. That's pretty awesome because one, damage is good for them, but also they scale their damage off of mag size, so really cool TDR changes. I've heard TDRs are actually really strong with the right build, so interesting to see them get buffed. The Order Pistol Lucky Clover of the Rocket Reload, they increased the fire rate, and the Order Sniper Rifle, the Fisheye, they increased the damage of, so actually some small buffs there. For UI, they updated gear thumbnails where they did not display properly and ensured stand-in thumbnails load properly. Lots of times my gear thumbnails would not work, so hopefully that's working a whole lot better. Then we just got a bunch of updated improvements to D-pad navigation, matchmaking menu, compass being wonky, localization, various improvements to custom waypoints and echolocations. For the visuals, bunch of updated NPC pathing, animation updates, visual updates. For audio, more audio updates, settings and accessibility. Here's the big one. Xbox, PlayStation enabled field of view, FOV sliders on consoles. Note, increasing the FOV past the default could cause dips in performance. From what I've heard, it's actually running quite well on console right now, so good to hear. Let me know what your experience is like down below in the comments. And the vehicle field of view settings will now be changed for both users when playing in split screen. Cool there. And then some updated miscellaneous changes. For the weekly activity changes, the Wrath of the Ripper Queen is going to be the wildcard mission with Shielded, Fortified, and Strong, so not terrible modifiers. Certainly no Centripetal or Elemental Eater. The Sniper is going to be the Symmetry Sniper Rifle. The Maurice Black Market Vending Machine I'm about to show you, and the Core Observer is going to be the Moxie's Encore machine. This drops the Defibrillator, the Divided Focus, and the Bully. If you're looking for any of those, doing it with the Iridium Encore machine is going to give you a higher drop chance of getting those specific legendaries. For Maurice's Black Market Vending Machine, you're going to want to come to the Grindstone of the Worthy. I traveled to the Rustical Hurl silo. It is basically just to the right of the Ark of Radix. As you make your way up this pathway, you'll get to this building, and then all you need to do is just come to the left here, and then the Maurice's Black Market Vending Machine will be right here. I don't really have enough money to buy anything from the vending machine, so we're just gonna have a look. I've got the Streamer in mind, which is cool. I actually like this ordinance quite a bit. It's got some different elements, and we've got the Dark Beast as well. I think the Dark Beast is an okay SMG. Not my favorite, to be honest. But it looks like we've got one with a COV part. Probably going to be picking up an Elemental Streamer, though. Guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. Very excited to see what they buff early next week. And hopefully, the game is running better for y'all after the updates. I've heard people getting significantly more FPS. I personally was having some real, hitching issues on boot up, but that seems to be mostly fixed now. I will catch y'all in the next one, guys. Take care. Peace.